We're going to be installing some wall mounted cabinets in our kitchen right here. I'm going to walk through how I do this. And so the very first step is to identify where your studs are. I use a little magnet right here that basically latches on everywhere I've got a screw. And so I've already got some of my stud locations marked out in this area. It's like right there and right there. So that's where I'm going to be drilling in my 3-inch screws. Be really careful when you're working with all this stuff because, you know, you have electric wires and other things running through. These wires are things I'm putting in to have under cabinet lighting. The other thing I'm going to use before I get started is just this piece of wood. This is some cut up wood from a pallet, and make sure that you measure the distance from the top of your countertop to where the base of your cabinet's going to be. In my case, I know that this point right here is 34.5, and then we're going to have a 3/4 inch spacer, and then we're going to have another 3/4 inch piece of granite on top of this. That'll be 36 inches total. So I'm going to want an 18-inch gap between the top of my countertop and the base of the cabinets. That means in this case I would need 18 3/4 distance between this point and then the top of this board, which is where the wall cabinet's gonna be sitting. So just make sure you do that. And then the other thing is, you know, when you're doing this, just put in one screw at first, and then, you know, you can change the tilt as you need to get this thing nice and level. And it's way easier to do that than trying to hold this thing and prop it up against the wall as you're doing this, you know, while you're trying to also screw it in. So I've got my level right here, and we've already got one screw in place. So I'm just gonna put this guy right there. We're gonna make this thing as nice and level as we can get it. So that's looking nice. And then I'm gonna take this guy and just remind me where that stud is. So I'm gonna drill another 3-inch screw right through here. And then we'll have a nice little platform where we can put our cabinet. All right, so we've got our cabinet out of the box, and what I'm gonna do is remove these doors. So basically we're just gonna take off these 2 Phillips right there, and then it'll pop right off on both those hinges. The same thing on the other door. Once you get all the screws off, these things, they just pop out just like that on both sides. Just separate this door and lift it up. And that is fairly heavy, so I'm just gonna set this thing aside, and we're gonna do that to this guy. I'm using a laser level above this thing, so I have a straight line showing me where this stud is, so that when I pull this thing up, I'll have an idea of where this stud is. So I'll shoot to put it around this line on wherever that laser level falls. I've put the cabinet on the countertop, and I have my laser level that's still pointing to where that stud's going to be. And I'm going to have my shelf right here. And so when I come in with my shelf and stick this thing in here, basically I'm going to take a little pencil and I'm just going to mark, you know, the top of this guy. Ideally get it right there. And I'll do one right underneath it. And then we'll do another one right here. So we know where to put our screws. So now when I go up on this thing, it'll be really easy. I can even pre-drill my holes because I know where they're gonna go. All right guys, here's what the finished product looks like after we get the doors back on. And you can see that if I wipe off that little graphite, you don't even see the screw head because it's hiding underneath there. So that ended up well, and these doors went back on pretty easily. They are not perfectly aligned. As you can see, that one's a bit low right there, so that's where you adjust these hinges. So you've got these 3 adjusting screws right here. So the ones to undo if you're taking the door off is only these 2, and then you can adjust how up or down or left or right or pitch with these three guys right there. So I'm going to do that now, and we'll look at how we put on our little hinges so we can have doors that look like that. But yeah, we've now got this cabinet hung, and if we take our level right here, we put it at the base of it, we can see that that is pretty flush. So we've got those two little holes right here from this guy that we can get rid of, and then we've also got our wire right here, which is for the under cabinet lighting that I'm going to be putting into. So I'll show you guys how we do that in another video. But yeah, that's what it looks like. Thanks all for watching, and hope this helps.